Hey, W here. Welcome to my apartment workshop, my little makerspace, my happy place in Copenhagen. So, as you can probably imagine, or maybe you can't imagine it right now because the shot that you're looking at actually makes this look pretty wide, but you can still probably imagine that having a workshop in a room in an apartment, uh, space management is going to be a consideration always. And even though it doesn't look like it when you look around me here, I actually like organizing this space and making it so that I can work here. I can have all my stuff, all my machines and materials, and also so that it doesn't, so that it's a kind of chaos that stimulates me rather than break up my ability to concentrate. So this is my kind of chaos. The video you're about to watch, I hope, is the latest of my projects in organizing this space. I put in some shelves because I wanted to exploit the z-axis of a room like this a little bit better than I was doing. Yeah, so watch along and see what I did and how I did it.
I wanted to do something reasonably accessible, both practically and in terms of cost. So I went and got a couple of these OSB boards. And now I obviously don't have enough space to work with something this big in my apartment. And since this was in the middle of winter and doing it outside was out of the question, I went down to the basement of the apartment building where we keep our bicycles. And yeah, then I basically just went to town with my plunge saw and cutting rail. I managed to design the shelves so that each one of them or each set of shelves fit almost perfectly onto one sheet. So two sheets, two pieces with almost no waste, as you can see here, which is both economical but also really satisfying, I think. In case you're wondering, the saw is an Einhell, which in my experience with it is a very reasonably priced but still serviceable piece of kit. I bought it bundled with two 1 meter rails that come together into one, as you can see. It's a little bit too short for an almost 2.5 meter sheet like this, but my experience working with cutting with a rail like this is you can actually move it. It's perfectly fine to move it mid-cut. If you're careful about it, you can still get a perfectly fine straight cut out of the operation. And then, of course, I need only half of it, or one of the 1 meter rails, for the slicing operation, turning these long strips into what will become the shells. And then finally, I took a piece of sandpaper to the edges, giving the whole thing or all the pieces a little bit of a finish before assembly. And then I got to the apartment and immediately realized that I'd forgotten to do a cutaway for the baseboard. Well, anyway, after that, it was just putting the pieces together, basically. I put the bottom in and the top, and then I affixed it to the wall, and then it's just repeated operations. As you can see, I'm using a couple of spacers. That's just a piece of, or 4 pieces of heavy-duty cardboard, helping me keeping the space between the shelves. And you can see the entire set of operations here, actually, which I just keep doing over and over. Placement of the shelf with the spacers, final adjustments with the level there, and then fixing it with the screws. Measure and mark, drill a hole, countersink it, and put in a screw. And again, measure and mark, drill, countersink, and screw. And by the way, I decided that I didn't need to glue this project, it would be fine. And there we are, finished later that day. I was and I am very happy with how they turned out. I think they look nice, and as you can see, the height is better. Or the height is good. I'm using the height of the room instead of having a lot of empty space at the top there. And of course, I have now started to fill them with all my stuff, haphazardly and disorganizedly as usual. But there's plenty of space still. You can see that this affords me a place to put a lot of stuff, and I can put organizers and stuff in their boxes and so on. And this is definitely an upgrade to my space management. So there's the project. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.